But you don't wanna be leaking that stuff in the environment anyway, so
No,
it was,
so you were super safe, that's good.
yeah. Yeah, well, how's everything going around here?
I don't know, one crisis after another.
Hey, what's gonna happen with that Middle Muscle County Water District and, their water, the airport was they were gonna come up across there like Old 87 or something or follow a property line, and I don't know where the line was gonna come across there. It was gonna come across the airport property there on the western part of that, cause it comes out to 87.
Yeah.
Airport property does, so anyway, they were gonna cross it,
Yeah,
and then they were gonna run a line up to the airport.
well, last we heard, they were gonna put that whole loop around, but they ran out of money.
Yeah,
They
well,
spent $4 million.
huh?
It's $4 million grant they got to do that, but they were, the engineering firm backed off. See, probably didn't
Well,
see it.
they did that because of those naysayers that
Yeah,
were in that area out there, but then, they were saying it was gonna cost $800 for a household a
Mhm.
month for water, and I don't know what it's gonna end up being, but it was not gonna be $800.
it's gonna be much.
Yeah. So did the county get a T put in the line?
Yeah, we paid for one, they haven't put it in, 'cause they're not sure where to put it yet. We paid for one, so was that,
Well,
they might put it on the Alec Royce side.
yeah, that's where I thought
Yeah.
I'd already put it, but,
And maybe they did, we paid for one, but we were hoping not to have to run all the way across the airport.
Yeah.
See,
well, and
we don't
that,
have to rip it right down the middle of that runway,
yeah, well, it'd be closer to just follow that south bend.
Yeah, it's a problem.
But no matter where you go, it's a lot of rock that
Yeah, I suppose.
I don't know how hard it'd be to trench that, because it's that layered sandstone for the most part. There's a few places where it gets thicker and harder and so forth.
I got that old boy out of Bridger that had a big trencher,
Yeah.
and boy, he just sawed rock just as quick as he sawed dirt.
Mm-hmm. Baylock had one of those.
Oh, yeah?
And I don't know if is he still doing dirt work?
Yeah, yeah.
But that'd be the one I'd say to talk to.
Galen, is it Galen?
Garrett.
Garrett, he runs that whole operation now.
But, I don't know, they would go out there around the oil field, put those full lines and stuff in,
Yeah,
and they'd put the water flood lines in and that kind of stuff. And for a 6-foot trench, out in the oil field, they were charging $1 or $1.25
Yeah.
a foot for just the trenching, but, of course, that's a long time ago. I know that price would be $4.
I don't know when it was, maybe 7 years ago, I put in all those water lines, and I got that guy out Bridger. He was putting in lines over there for Palin, at Gage.
Uh-huh.
So I went over and talked to him, and I said, and that was in the fall, I wanted to put in at least 3,000 foot just to get started, I had a project for next year, but, and I went and talked to him, I said, I got a project up here, it's only about 8 miles up from this road right here. I said, well, yeah, I'm done here, he said, I can go out and do that. I said, great. He said, well, I don't have a truck. He said, I always hire on a truck, and I said, well, I got a trailer and a truck. I said, I can haul that thing up there. And I hooked it to my own International, and I got that trailer I bought from Sonics and I hauled the cattle on. Anyhow, I drove up there and parked on the North Gage Road, and he come scooting up there, crawled up the back of that trailer and lifted my back of the semi off the ground. I said, how heavy is that thing? He said, oh, it's 14 tons. Well, that's a lot on one spot. So I got it on the trailer while I was loaded, And I had about maybe an inch of clearance on the tires. But I hauled it up there, but I went around one corner and ruined a couple of tires, got lean.
You guys are just BSing, right?
No,
No,
this is serious
We're
business.
really busy.
Really serious stuff here.
No.
They're
So-
talking about one of Mike's adventures again.
Oh, he has.
One of the couple of them hills I was scratching on, I'll tell you. But I got it up there. And I said, I'm not hauling it back.
There was a guy, I don't remember his name, he was doing, he had a cat and he was doing dirt work down there around Muscle Shoal and Millstone area. And, he wanted to know if he could rent my low boy, and I said, "Well, I guess so.
Yeah.
It's not a real heavy duty low boy, well, my cat's not very big, and it was a Komatsu that weighed about 80 or 90,000 pounds. And he never brought the trailer back, never brought it
That's all it
back.
was, he said that thing was 45 tons. I think.
yeah.
Oh, well, never mind.
And so, I don't know, I was going to Minneapolis or somewhere one day, and I happened to look down the coulee, and there's my low boy, so
Oh,
I went and got it, and of course, I never did, yeah, I was bent, I ended up having to straighten it out, and the third axle was broken on the suspension.
oh, yeah.
Oh, stuff.
And so I ended up with a major repair job to get it.
But he paid you well, right?
Yeah, I never got, I'm still waiting, he's gonna, one of these days, he's gonna come along and pay.
Checks in the
Yeah,
mail.
one of these days. Yeah, I have a few of those.
Well, I don't even remember his name now, but there's no sense in holding a grudge against a deal like that, because
Yeah,
pretty soon you're just down on the whole world, so you just well forget about it and move on.
yeah, move on. Maybe learn something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the tuition is expensive.
it sure is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've noticed that, so. Well, dang it. I guess we are just bullshitting, aren't we? It's all being recorded. Yes, watch your language. Yeah, we
So, the last I heard on that airport water was that they had turned they only had one household that wanted water across the airport road in that subdivision, but Marking also wanted
and
water.
Larky wanted it, and Ponte wanted it.
Yeah, those were the two.
Mhm.
But they said it was gonna cost $3 million to put the line
Yeah,
over to that side. Well, I don't know.
No, I don't think it's gonna cost that much. Something wasn't right with that.
Yeah, well, that was the engineers. They
yeah.
claiming that, but.
Well, Monty was in here the other day and he said, well, it only makes sense just come from the golf course to Ponte and Brad, and even the airport.
Yeah, well, if it goes to Brad's house, it's only a
Yeah.
quarter of a mile to get to the,
Yeah, we could
whatever,
run,
to the
we could
air.
run a garden hose down there,
Yeah,
just hook up to it.
we could just go up there at night and hook into the
Yeah.
line, and then somebody else could pay for the water.
That's right.
There you go.
You're thinking like I'm thinking. Yeah, take it at night. Well, we'll get it there, 'cause that was my whole thing from the start, is to get it to the airport.
Yeah. Well, I think it'd be a good deal for the airport. I
Yeah,
think probably, they moved that firefighting station from the airport to Laurel
yeah,
because we had some construction project going on and they were quite concerned about the fire danger that
Yeah.
year. And so they took it to Laurel, and then they had the one at Billings, but, it's a long ways to go with an airplane, and
Yeah.
and then you
Helicopter.
deal with ATC getting in and out of there, and that takes extra time, and so it was Roundup was a good choice for
Yeah.
it, other than not, they would then hire the fire department to
Haul
haul water
Yeah.
to them.
And actually, you just turn on a spigot.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think we'd have the line capacity probably
Probably
to,
not.
not have storage, but the BLM or the Northern Interagency Fire outfit had
Yeah.
put some vertical tanks,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
probably about
So
5,000.
verify so you can keep them full.
Yeah, and that was the thing, and then if they had some water going in and over, and then that way they could speed up their
Yeah.
loading time considerably, so. I don't think, under any circumstances, it worked very well to not have some storage
Oh,
capacity.
yeah, you're right, they want to load fast.
Yeah,
So, that's the way I set up my sprayer. I got a well over there at my shop that only puts out a gallon a minute. It has a pump jack on it, and that's all it needed was a pump jack. And you couldn't ever put a submerger on it, there's not enough water.
yeah,
So I put in 2,000 gallons of storage. I've got 2 septic tanks I hooked together and buried them.
uh-huh,
And I let that thing pump and fill them up. You know, I could keep my sprayer full all day long. Just from those storage tanks. And then they'd sit there and pump all night, fill them all back up again. It worked. So you can get
you know, I
100 gallons a minute.
noticed that they were a little short of help. There were 4 or 5 fires out here in the hills a month or 6 weeks ago, I don't remember when it was, so anyway, I went to a fire out there, and there was a tank, a well there on Sewell's, which Sewell's used to have, I guess McClary bought his, bought another bought it, but anyway, we went there and filled up the, I said, well, why don't we just take it had a 1-inch line going into the tank, why don't we just take the line and put it in the truck and fill it up, well, it didn't, pump 15 gallons a minute for
Yeah.
3 minutes, and it was down to a dribble, so
Oh,
we pumped some out of the tank, but you know that it probably was, the well was probably making 2 gallons or 3 a minute,
Yeah.
but it was full by the time we went back to get the next load of water.
well, I put in that new system. I put in 2 12,000 gallon tanks. One out there at that hall place, I out there at Little Wall, and then one there at the Matson place, which is all right off the corner of North Gate.
Mhm.
I set them up so they could fill a fire truck with them. Just have to stick a pump in because the pump wouldn't do it, but yeah. I thought, well, it's good having 12,000 gallons of storage,
Yeah,
but it isn't just to keep ahead of the cows.
they were supposed to do that out here in that airport subdivision, but I don't think they ever put any of those
I never seen one.
storage facilities in out there. I don't remember what the deal was, but they were supposed to do that.
I buried them too, they're buried. And Greg digged a hole with his old, whatever he had, excavator. That was quite a machine. But and do everything according to plan. But that, well, that was pumping 15 gallons a minute out of it. And an engineer, you know, I was gonna put a 20 gallon per minute pump in, it comes 10 gallons a minute. And the plan called for 10 gallons a minute. I said, well, hell, why don't we put a 20 gallon per minute in there? And he come by and he said, no, we're gonna have to leave it 10 because a 20 will burn a lot more electricity. I said, well, doesn't it take twice as long to fill the tank with a 10 gallon a minute as it does a 20 gallon a minute? Well, I don't make no difference. Okay. And I had to put a 10 gallon per minute in because that's what the plans called for. But he didn't see the reason. It made sense to me, you know.
You know, when our house burned, my dad said, you know, we're going around here drilling wells for people, and we need to drill a well that we can fight fire with, so we
Yeah.
drilled a well and put about a 16-inch casing in it, and got to pump 100 gallons, and then
Wow.
but you don't get quite that out of it. You get about, I timed it filling fire trucks and you get about 90 gallons out of it.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah. But there's not very many places around the Bull Hills where you can get that volume of water, because it's the Fort Union Formation, and
Yes.
they're alluvial basins, but if you can get into one of those basins, but that happens to be we just happen to tap into the main artery of the artery of the, East Parrot Creek. So that out there at, your place, there's a lot of water in that. You've got that pond that's out there, it used to be by, your dad or your
Mm-hmm.
house there. There's a lot of water right there. And
Well, we've never had any trouble with water, that's for sure.
yeah, I know when that Hot Creek fire burned, we pumped 150 gallons a minute out of that for hours and hours and
Yeah.
hours, and it only went down about this far.
Did you witch it?
Hmm?
Did you witch it? Find that?
No, it's just, I don't know, it's been there, was it a spring or something?
It's just an old spring around, no, that was a spot where they used to have a horse camp by the RL, cattle company. It was there since 1879, dubbed that spring, yeah.
There's up above where Mary Bauer used to live on West Parrot Creek, there's 5 springs in a row that are spaced out, not very far apart. And, years ago, they used to use it for dipping baths. They
Yeah.
put chemical in it to kill the flies on the cows and run them through the water, and they got them treated that way, but those put out a lot of water too. And they're no longer contaminated, that water went away a long time ago. And anything residual was left in the dirt, because it's been 100 years ago they used to do it.
Yeah, for probably gone. Yeah. Go on, public comment. You're our public. You want to talk about anything?
I've already blabbed too much, so yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll get that water to the airport, one way or the other.
Yeah,
we,
get that.
we need, I was gonna talk to that Bob Church, he retired. Yeah, Mac and Staley's. They're having trouble getting engineers to stay because of the squabbling going on up there.
Yeah.
They didn't want nothing to do with it. So, crazy bunch.
Well, it's really too bad, because they got that contaminant grant to
Yeah.
pay for putting the lines, or the majority of the cost of putting the
Yeah.
lines in, so it wouldn't have taken a big bond issue or something to
No.
finance the thing. They would have had the cost of hooking up to the house maybe, and a meter or something, I don't know what it would have amounted to.
From just the meter, we understood, they were even gonna hook the houses up, except they had to buy the meter. So, I don't know, we're not privy to that stuff, I
I
guess.
need to talk to Cheryl
Yeah.
about hers or something.
You get something like that in place, and then it's a district,
Yeah,
and so,
Okay,
it actually is under the canopy of the county,
okay.
yeah,
because it's a district in the county, so the board members need to be put on some kind of a ballot. It's usually at the school election, I think, where they vote on those, but,
yeah.
and I told them when I got on that board, I'd do 1 year, and or the shortest term they had, and then nobody really paid any attention to the fact that because of that,
Yeah.
And somebody said something, I said, yeah, you're right, that's the way it's gotta be. I'd forgotten about it myself. So now I'm there and I said, well, since the airport is no longer included in that district, you need to find somebody to replace me because
Yeah,
I'm not an eligible board member, but.
yeah, you don't own property out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So,
Hmm.
then I said, well, I won't leave the board in a lurch for the moment, you get it figured out what's going on with it. So, you guys asked me to report to you, and I've told you everything I learned, which isn't very much.
Yeah, it's recorded. Yeah, well, yeah, it'd be interesting to get engineers in here and talk to them,
Yeah.
whoever it is.
Cause we're not hearing, well, Ponte, he just,
Yeah, he came in the other day.
he should not have done what he did, he just didn't go exactly his way, and so he decided he wanted out of it. And that's not the way it was, really, they're not them too.
Yeah, I think there's been, well, two things have happened. When they got that contaminant grant to pay for it, that's gonna lower the price of the water considerably. You know, say the water costs $40 or $50 a month, and then maybe it takes $40 or $50 a month to administer it. So it's gonna be, we'll just say about $100 a month, and not $300 or $400 like it could have
Yeah.
been if the district would have bought all the line. And so with the price going down, getting down a little bit more reasonable, there's more people interested in it as
Right.
well, so.
And once that district gets their water in place, then there's gonna be people outside of the district that are gonna say, you know what? Maybe I should look into.
It's good water, it really
Yeah.
is, it's very nice compared to what it was, oh my word.
Really?
Can't, oh,
I
we have filters on our house and we have filter coming in and then 6 filters after that. And we still had residue and very, very hard, harsh water. But now it's like night and day,
yeah,
very soft,
that's what I remember
Very
people
wonderful
telling
water.
me that.
not smelly, not orange, you know, you have to change your filter every week.
One thing that's helped a lot too with the water here in town is the city's been on a mission since the '70s to get the mains replaced, which is
Right.
good, but
You know, all the
they,
pipes.
they spent a lot of money on getting some good infrastructure,
Yeah.
but that helps too, and
Mhm.
obviously there's some residue left in those lines and so forth, but it
Take time.
probably almost been hooked up long enough now, it's probably pretty well all gone, so there may be a little bit left, but not much.
I think most of that that orange that you saw was the iron.
Mhm.
There's a bug that gets in this, it gets in the water that lives off of that iron.
Mm.
And it doesn't hurt you a bit, it just looks bad.
Mhm.
And it gives it a little bit of an iron taste. But we've got several wells that have got that iron oxide in them.
Yeah.
State of
Well, I've got-
Montana comes out and checks them all the time, says, hey, this water's plumb good.
Iron and
Nothing wrong with it.
manganese, it was just smells,
Was it?
smell,
It didn't.
horrible.
Well, that
Just
was
horrible.
that was because it was, it had some
Another
sulfur dioxide,
Sulfur in it, yeah.
If you aerate it,
Combination.
that's why it smells, because as soon as you release the pressure on
Mhm.
the water, which you do when you open the faucet, it gets rid of the pressure and then that, sulfur comes out of it.
Horrible.
That water up there, like on the bench basin up there where the Winnet cutoff goes,
Mm-hmm.
there's quite a bit of sulfur in that, but to get rid of it, if you just pump it up and let it run down the riffle, it's all gone at it doesn't have to go very far to get rid of it.
It was bad, it was bad.
And then another thing that there is, I don't know if that water, I don't think that water they were getting was deep enough, but the deeper water around here's got some entrained oxygen in it. And so, in that, of course, dissipates right away when you take it out of the aquifer and it's not under pressure. But, we had the boiler there at the mill, we had them test an outfit out of Houston and tested it a couple, 3 times and said, well, it's really good water, but you got some entrained oxygen in it, and you need, if you take the pressure off from it, it'll be fine, so I got one of those stainless steel milk tanks and used that for a reserve tank, and then we just put another pump in it and pump it into that, so it was, the pressure was gone and
That's great.
kind of a simple fix to it.
Interesting. Yeah, we had this toilet that just was there when we moved in our house and it just gave us aggravation, we just hated this toilet. We'll wait, so and it was stained, you could never clean it just was horrible stain. So we waited until after, just got it replaced.
You got those, and
Yeah,
now
we
you
got a
new,
new toilet,
new
yeah.
one now.
Yeah, so yeah, not gonna replace a toilet with bad water to stain it all up again. Even with filters on. Anyways, yeah, water. It's expensive, but it's good water.
When I built my house, I never thought about it, I drilled a well and put the tank and pump and stuff in. And I probably went to the hardware store and just bought fittings for it, and I got some brass fittings, but I got some steel fittings, and now I'm getting some rust and it
Yep,
stains the
yep,
toilet.
yep.
But I don't have any filters on it. It'd be smarter to just go buy some stainless steel fittings and change the fittings.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I know we just redid the one bathroom at the museum, and, you know, within a week, the toilet was
Yeah.
ruined. The porcelain was stained and ruined, and it's like, gee whiz, here we go.
The one up there at the pilot lounge at the airport, number of years ago, Doug Garrett said, I'll buy a toilet if you'll put it in. Okay, so he bought a toilet and put it in. He'd come by every few days and clean it up, but the problem is the water that we get comes off the roof. It's just rain catch water off the roof of the hangar, so it's got all the bird crap in it. And it's a old steel tank, so you can clean it today and tomorrow it's
It'll
just
be
as
all
orange
dirty
as
again,
it is.
yeah, exactly.
It's kind of boring around here.
It's not gonna be boring for long.
Okay,
4 more minutes
Go ahead.
before.
public comment. Don't hardly get any. We need to know what's controversial.
You know, one thing I'd say about this job or this being a commissioner is if you're doing a good job, you don't get much public comment.
Right.
But if you're not doing a good job, pretty
You get a
soon
lot.
everybody's
You get a
showing.
lot of
Down on you, yeah.
And I really noticed that, is it, if, somebody had a complaint, you'd actually listen to it.
Well, we went to Darrell yesterday and asking for $320,000 towards a new grader, and they gave us $250, so we thanked them. Oh, hell, shit. Wiggle that thing.
There it goes.
Yeah, we'll get on there, yeah. Yeah, they
The
had
new grader now is $340,
Oh my God.
500,000.
500.
Crazy.
You know, when I was a commissioner, we were trying to figure out how we could come up with $97,000.
That was a lot of money then,
The
though.
good old
was,
days,
yeah.
of course it was. So
That's
I
where-
tell everybody.